Hey, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Marshawn Olanio, and I help professional Black women like yourself to prioritize self-love as well as navigate dating with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Now, today we are diving into a major challenge when it comes to dating, one that many women have struggled with, including but not limited to myself. And what are we talking about today? We are talking about getting emotionally invested too soon. Now, this is the third part of a 5-part series. I've actually talked about, in the first part, I've talked about dating, what to do on your second date. So that's a video. If you have not watched that, it is a part of a series, as I just mentioned. I also talked about thus far, I've talked about is he genuinely interested in you or not, and how to navigate that. And today we're talking about, again, getting emotionally invested way too soon. Now, listen, sis, I totally get it. I do. When a man shows up, he's being consistent with you. He's saying all the right things. He's making you feel special. It is very easy for you to imagine a future with him. But I'm here to tell you, if you're anything like me, this is when things starts to get a little bit tricky, because for years, your girl, me, I started to get emotionally attached too soon because I was focusing on the wrong thing. I didn't pay attention to the things that really mattered to myself, the things that mattered to make a successful relationship. So because he was showing me the time, energy, and attention, I just thought that we were automatically a match. Now that I'm older, now that I'm mature, now that I understand what we need in order to create successful relationships, I look at dating differently. And so I want you to start looking at dating differently, because just because he's showing you the time, the energy, the attention does not mean the two of you are automatically a match. And so in this video today, I am breaking down why this actually happens. Why do we get emotionally invested too soon? How to pace yourself, and the mindset that helped me to shift from getting emotionally attached too soon. And guess what, sis? These are also the same strategies that I use with my clients in order to help them to slow down them getting emotionally attached too soon. So if you are a note taker, grab your pen, grab your notebook, grab your tea, grab your wine, whatever it is that is going to help you in order to pay attention. Take some notes, because I'm going to help you to stop going down that emotional roller coaster, feeling like you're being attached to somebody too soon when you shouldn't be. Okay, I want to back up for a moment. So before we jump into how to prevent you getting attached too soon, let's talk about why this happens with so many women. One of the first things that happen or could happen while you get attached too soon is the chemical reaction. So your body, your brain specifically, releases a hormone called oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. And this happens during our intimate interactions, including but not limited to deep conversations that you may be having with this partner that you're leaning more toward attaching to too soon. So oxytocin is doing what it does, is releasing this hormone, and now you're feeling like you should be bonding with him. Not to say that it can't happen, I just don't want you to do it too soon. So just understanding why, one of the reasons why this happened, is going to help you to become aware of what's actually going on or could be going on with you. The second thing I want you to pay attention to is something that they call attachment theory. And specifically, this just means that your attachment styles influence how much emotional attachment or investment that you have with this person in the relationship. And so we have several different attachment styles. We have secure, we have anxious, we have avoidant, and disorganized. And for years, let me just tell you, for years, I suffered with the anxious attachment style. My anxious attachment style came from me being teased, me feeling like the guy doesn't like me, right? Is not choosing me. Then I need to be chosen by whomever comes next. And it wasn't like every single guy I gave attention to. However, I gave attention to more guys than I would like to rightfully admit, because I was like, okay, well, if this person doesn't stay with me, then when is the next person going to come along? Is somebody else going to choose me, or am I going to be alone? So I was dealing with a lot of anxiety when the guy did choose me, that I was clinging on to him a little too much. And so then I had to work on it. First, I had to understand what was actually happening. And then I had to start working on how to become more secure. right? And research actually shows, I wrote this down, research shows that those with an anxious attachment style have a tendency to form emotional bonds quickly, potentially leading to premature emotional investment, which is specifically what we're talking about here. So that was something that I suffered with, which was anxious attachment style. And so if that's something that you're suffering from, and you can recognize it, right? You have to be aware of what's actually happening. Then now you can start to say, okay, so how can I start to be more secure with my attachment style? Because when you hear about attachment style, you think about, most people think about their childhood and where it stemmed from. And the majority of people, it will and has come from their childhood. However, it could have come from your dating experiences and the partners that you chose as well. So it's not always coming from your childhood. I actually worked with a client, and she was saying how her childhood was good. It was good. But when her romantic relationship started to come into play, is where she found out what her attachment style was. And so you just have to pay attention. Most of us get it from childhood. Some of us do not. It doesn't matter where you got it from. You have to be able to understand what's actually happening with you so you can start to make that shift. So we have the chemical reactions, and we also have the attachment theory, which is why these things are happening. But then we also have the fantasy versus reality. It means that you're beginning to see him for his potential rather than who he is currently showing up as. So you don't want to focus on just the fantasy of the man, the fantasy and what he can actually bring to the table based off of lip service. You want lip service attached to, pun intended, attached to his actions. So it's not just lip service. It's not just like you're dreaming about the type of lifestyle that you can have with this person. You want it to be attached to both of you having core values, both of you having some goals, you having some family goals as well as individual goals on what you want out of your life in your life. And then the fourth reason why you may be attaching too soon is the lack of options. Now, this one, I'm going to say it here, but I'm also going to say it later on. The reason why I want to put it here is because this depends on where your moral compass is. Some people lean into dating multiple people, and that's what I mean by the lack of options. If you're only dating one person, you have a tendency to want to attach to them sooner because that's who you're giving your time, energy, and effort to, especially if it's reciprocated. Right? So I totally get that, understand that, been there, done that, can write a book about it. Okay. So with that being said, this has to do with your moral compass. Some people like to date multiple people to figure out what their choices are. Those type of people that do that have a tendency to not attach to any one person because now they're trying to figure out who should I give even more time, energy, and effort to, right? But those people who decide to date only one person at a time have a tendency to say, I want to lean into this person even more. It depends on where you're at. I'm not saying the one is better than the other. Where are you at? You have to choose. You have to make the choice about what works for you and for your life and the way that you want to live it. If you are enjoying this information and this content, then please give me a like and subscribe, because this is what I talk about: self-love as well as how to date with confidence in your relationship. And so if you want to hear more about this, then I absolutely highly recommend that you subscribe. And then I do want to put in a plug here because I specifically created a PDF, one that you can go ahead and purchase and download. It is digital, and it's specifically for Black women, professional Black women. It is entitled How Professional Black Women Can Date with Confidence. Is exactly what we're talking about here today. You don't have to be emotionally attached too soon if you understand the things that you're looking for, if you are aware of the things that he's putting out there, the red flags or even the green flags, understanding what these things are and how they can play a part in the partner that you are choosing. And so if this sounds like something that you are interested in taking a deeper dive into so you can be a professional Black woman that dates with confidence and not waste your time, energy, and effort on the wrong person time and time again, then I highly suggest that you click the link down in the description box as well as in the pinned comments. So now let's discuss the 5 ways to prevent early attachment. The first one is to date with a clear mindset. So before you fall for this guy emotionally, or anyone else for that matter, I want you to make sure that he aligns with your goals and your life's aspirations. Now, goals can be a little bit tricky, but what I'm specifically talking about is the lifestyle goals and or your family goals. And because you want to be in alignment, if you want a child or children, another child or children, you want them to be in alignment with that. If you want your life to be set up a certain way, sort of like having dinner on a certain time, or making sure that devices are cut off at a certain time, or whatever the thing is that you want your life to be set up, you want to make sure that he's there for your family events. Like, those things actually matter, and they will cause division within your relationship if you don't have the foundational goals in place, what you want your family life to look like. Okay, so make sure that you are dating with a clear mindset. And I would want to add in here, to date with intention. You having a clear mindset is you understanding what you want out of your life, what you want in a partner, what you're willing to give, because you can't ask for something out of your partner that you are not willing to do and or give yourself. That's where a lot of this becomes one-sided, and then somebody gets frustrated in the relationship or annoyed. And at some point, guess what happens? Division, breakup, divorce. So you want to make sure that your core values, your goals are in alignment. So date with clarity. And I like to tell my clients, on your first couple of dates, when you're starting to get to know someone, do not take a laundry list of questions out there. However, you should have some questions each date, these type of questions that align with your goals and your values. So you can have a deeper discussion to see where their mindset is, to see how they feel about certain situations, to see what they think about families, to see what they think about marriage, to see what they think about children, and not just young children, it could be adult children, because we're getting older and older. And so these are the types of conversations that you should start thinking about having. So I like to tell my clients, no more than 3 deep, thought-provoking questions to bring out on each date until your core list has been answered. And I want you to take it a step further to think about which questions which questions are the most important to you for your life to unfold in the way that you want it to be, because those are the first 3 questions that you need to be asking on the first date. On the second date, let's ask some more, right? And go down your list until one or 2 things is going to happen. He's either going to disqualify himself, or you're going to get to the end of the list and like, okay, even if he's not in alignment with everything, I can see how our lives could, not that they are, but how your lives could be pretty successful based off of your core values and the thought-provoking questions and the conversations that the 2 of you have brought to the table, that getting to know stage. This is what you should be doing when you're out there dating. The second thing is kind of controversial, but I still want to throw it in here, which is to pace the deep emotional conversations, which kind of goes to what I was saying before. I don't want you to have a laundry list of 10, 20 questions that you're trying to ask, because you also don't want any of your dates to feel like it's an interview. You still want to show up and have fun. You still want to showcase your softer side. You still want to be feminine when it's needed, right? You still want to do all of that, but also you want to make sure that you're not getting attached too soon, which is what we're talking about here today. So pace your intimate interactions, pace the deep conversations, have some, but don't keep it there the entire time, because again, you will be emotionally attached too soon to this person. You want to pace the relationship and honestly, just allow it to unfold naturally. And along with that, you want to pace yourself with how much time you spend with this new person in your life. And I really like to hone in and express to slow this particular thing down, because a lot of people think that in the beginning, when they are dating and they're getting to know each other, that it's the best thing to do is to spend 4, 5, 6 hours with this person. And I highly disagree, because research actually has backed up my disagreements. It's not just me. Essentially, it has said that the fastest that the fire has been lit is just as fast as the fire is going to be put out. Now, what do I mean by that? So as much time, energy, and effort that you put into this person, and you're feeling like you're getting to know them, and it happens sooner than later. What am I talking about? Where the one party feels like they are in a relationship that they did not sign up for. And so what ends up happening? A lot of times somebody gets ghosted because the other person needs to take a step back. Also, this leads me into the second or the third part of this, which is you need to allow, or you have to, right? You have to allow your endorphins to calm down, to be regulated. Anytime you are around this person, your emotions, your endorphins, right? Your oxytocin wants you to attach to this person. And when this happens too often, too soon, you do attach yourself to this person, right? But then what also happens is that you either can't see or you ignore red flags. So you need to be able to allow your endorphins to settle down, allow the oxytocin to dissipate so you can truly evaluate and reflect on the actual person, reflect on the date, reflect on how this person is making you feel when you're in their presence, not constantly on the phone with them, not constantly texting them all day, every day, not constantly in his face, in his space. You have to allow yourself to detach so you can really make an informed decision that you want to continue dating this person. So after every date, I'm not saying go cold turkey. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is to pace yourself, to slow things down. And if you have yet to do some reflecting time, I highly suggest that after every single date, you take some time to reflect. Get in your quiet space and say, this is what went right about the date. And then this is what I felt went wrong about the date. And the things that went wrong about the date, I want you to make note of them and then ask clarifying questions. I like to do this in person, and I like to tell my clients to do this in person, but you can do it over a phone call. I do not suggest you doing it via text because things can get lost in translation during text. So at least you can hear the tone of voice, and I really want you to be able to see the body language. This is why I say do it in person, but at the very least do it over a phone call. Ask the follow-up questions based off of the information that you took in. You evaluated, you reflected on it. Okay, now I got some questions about this. So you know what? Hey, and this is part of your conversation or like your opening. You know, the last time we were together, X, Y, and Z happened, or you said X, Y, and Z. And I just had some clear. I just want to ask you, can you tell me more about that? Or I have some questions, and maybe you have a specific question. Ask the specific question. But again, you need to allow your emotional interactions to come down to a minimum. Just pace them. Not saying don't have them. You should have them. That way you're trying to see if you're going to connect with this person and to make an informed decision. Am I going to go back out on another date with this person? You should absolutely have them, just not all day, every day. The third way to prevent being attached too soon is to avoid the oversharing too quickly, right? It's not to say that you shouldn't share things about you. You should, but I want you to be very intentional about showcasing your vulnerability. Now, we know that being vulnerable is essential for the other person to feel like they know you, so you can feel connected to them. However, avoid revealing too much too soon, because what this will do is fast track the attachment. You want to slow things down. This is another way to pace yourself and not get attached too soon. So you feel like you want to share some things, you absolutely should. But do they need to hear the entirety of all of the things that happen, including but not limited to the drama, right? You don't need to overshare all of the drama. Maybe there is something that you want to share, but you don't need to share every single detail in that moment. And one of the ways to prevent yourself feeling guilty of not sharing, you could say something to the extent of, you know what, there is something there based off of this, but I want to tell you a little bit more about it later. So a real example could be, you know what, I do get a little frustrated when I feel like you're not taking my feelings into consideration. There is more there, but I would rather tell you a little bit more about that as we get to know each other, right? So you did let them acknowledge the fact that they were right about you feeling this type of way, right? That you were triggered or whatever. But today ain't the day for us to go down that rabbit hole. I can share it with you as we continue to know each other. That way you can pace him understanding who you are. You can pace him understanding why you are, right? You can pace him understanding, well, she seemed a little agitated. He will get a better understanding, but you hold the key to how much you want to share. The fourth way to not be attached too soon is to keep your life full. Yes, I did. What I do know is that when a lot of people get into a relationship, they think that all of their time, energy, and effort should now be shifted over to new potential partner, when in fact you are setting yourself up for failure. Why? Because at some point, it may not happen on date 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, but at some points, he's going to feel like it is so much pressure that he has to be your all the time. He has to be in your face, in your space all the time in order for things to run smoothly. So you don't want to put that pressure on him, nor do you want to put that pressure on yourself. So keep your life full. The friendships that you had before you met him, keep hanging out, keep putting those things on your schedule. If you like to travel, then keep putting that on your schedule with or without him. If you like to, whatever your thing is, right? All of the hobbies, your friendships, including your self-care routine. Keep taking care of your body, because that's the thing that attracted him, right? It's the physical in the very beginning, no matter what nobody say. You don't have a conversation with the person when you first meet them. You see their outer. So if you are consistently taking care of yourself before you met him, keep taking care of yourself, right? Keep taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. All of the things that you were putting into place before you met said potential partner is the things that you should continue to do in order to keep your life full. And again, to take the pressure off him feeling like he has to be your all and everything. One of the things that I remember, I was having a conversation with, I have no idea who I was having, but it was about how back in the day, we had more villages and we were able to take some of the pressure off of the men by showcasing our vulnerability or getting feedback, if you will, from the women in our life, right? Being able to go and overshare with them every detail, because women like details, right? So you can go and overshare every detail about something that is frustrating you. Most of the time, not all, but most of the time, your man wants you to get to the point. And he wants to feel like, how can he help you solve said issue? Women, we can help you solve said issue, but we want every single detail. So what I'm saying that because a lot of times with us growing up and having the internet and meeting people that are not in the same building anymore or on the same street, we have disconnected from our core village. And so because we've disconnected from our core village, now we feel like this one person, i.e. our partner, has become our new village. And we put the pressure of all of the things that we would have done with other people, specifically other women, because you're a woman and I'm talking to you, right? Specifically other groups of women. Now we're putting all of that pressure on him to be all of those things, right? You want him to be your girlfriend when his energy needs to be different. Because do you really want to date your girlfriend, right? So just something to think about. Our villages are no longer there. And so this is also why you need to keep your life full, so you can start to create your pockets of your village, the things that are going to help you, because everybody in your life is not going to want to do everything that you want to do, right? If you are a person that works out all the time, maybe you have a group of friends that like to do that and you go there with them. Maybe there's a group of friends that you can be very, very intellectual with. Maybe there's a group of friends that you can be and share your spirituality with. Maybe there's a group of friends that does X, Y, and Z. And so understanding that we used to have pockets of people that we would do things with and create our life with, this is how you keep your life full, by not excluding those people once you start dating and or you feel like you have been chosen by the person. I say feel like because it might be early stages. At some point, you do need to have a conversation, but that's not what we're talking about here today. And the fifth way to not be attached too soon, again, I said it before on the other side, now I'm saying it here, which is to date more than one person. Again, this really does have to do with your moral compass. It is not right or wrong, whichever way you decide. As I mentioned before, the people that date multiple people have a tendency to detach and not get attached too soon because they're not putting all their focus on one person, right? But if this does not align with your values, then it don't align with your values. Just continue to keep your life full, and then you do have other things and other people in your life to take some of the pressure off you, as well as literally to distract you from feeling like you have to attach to said person too soon. So we have to remember that emotional attachment is a natural thing. It is how we connect. It is how we build our relationships, and it's how we create the intimacy within our life. But here's the thing. Attachment should be earned. It is not automatic. So just because he's giving you attention, he's taking you out, he's saying all of the right things, doesn't mean that he has proven himself worthy of your emotional investment. Just something for you to think about. And this is why pacing yourself while you're dating is so important. You deserve a connection that's built on mutual effort, trust, respect, consistency, and real compatibility, not them just showing up and showcasing the chemistry or their potential. So before you find yourself emotionally attached to this person and locked in, I just want you to take a step back and ask yourself, has this person shown up for me in a way that deserves this or your emotional investment? So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found yourself getting attached too fast to a man? You're super emotionally invested in them, only to realize that later on that you should not have been emotionally attached to this person in the first place. Please, please, please let me know your comments down in the comment section below and what lessons that you actually learned and where you're at. Let's talk about it. Let's not leave this here. Let's continue the conversation down in the comment section. And I will see you in the next video. Why? Because we are discussing the power of dark feminine energy while you are dating. I will see you over there. And don't forget to watch the series, the playlist. Bye-bye now.